Mysterious missile test sends shockwaves across the globe. In a development that has rattled capitals from Washington to Tel Aviv, and raised eyebrows in Moscow and Beijing, Iran has conducted what officials are calling a classified missile test. The launch, shrouded in secrecy, has left defense analysts, political leaders, and intelligence agencies scrambling to decode the exact nature of the weapon tested, its range, and its intended message. Reports indicate that the test occurred late Tuesday night at a secure facility inside Iran. Unlike previous missile launches that were announced with fanfare by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, this test was carried out without prior notification and without official confirmation of the missile's class or capabilities. However, satellite imagery and regional monitoring stations confirmed the unmistakable trail of a long-range missile launch, sparking intense speculation worldwide. Uncertainty fuels anxiety. The unusual secrecy surrounding the test has amplified global anxiety. Officials in Israel have described the event as highly concerning, warning that Iran may be pushing forward with weapons programs that could threaten regional stability. Defense experts argue that the missile may not have been a routine test, but rather a prototype of an advanced system, possibly hypersonic or nuclear capable. In a symbolic sense, many observers point out that the test seemed deliberately designed to keep adversaries guessing. When a country hides the nature of its missile program, it creates strategic ambiguity. That uncertainty is as much a weapon as the missile itself, said one former Pentagon analyst. Reactions across the globe. The international response was swift. United States, Washington condemned the test, calling it an irresponsible escalation. A Pentagon spokesperson emphasized that the U.S. remains committed to protecting its allies in the Middle East and monitoring Iran's activities closely. Rumors also surfaced that the White House might consider reintroducing broader sanctions if evidence suggests Iran has tested a missile capable of carrying nuclear warheads. Israeli leaders were among the first to react, with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu convening an emergency security meeting. Israeli media described the event as a direct warning shot and speculated that Israel might accelerate its own defense initiatives, particularly the Arrow 4 missile defense system. Russia and China, interestingly, both Moscow and Beijing maintained a more cautious stance. Russia, while reportedly unsettled by the sudden move, refrained from public criticism, suggesting that the Kremlin is carefully calculating its response. China simply urged all parties to exercise restraint, reflecting its broader strategy of avoiding entanglement in Middle Eastern disputes while preserving its trade relationships. Symbolism behind the test. Iranian officials offered no official statement, but state media hinted at the test being linked to scientific and strategic advancements. The messaging was vague, yet deliberate. Analysts believe Tehran wanted to demonstrate its ability to project power without openly flaunting it, a form of silent deterrence. Some commentators in Iran have gone further, suggesting that the test was intentionally timed to coincide with heightened global instability. With wars ongoing in Ukraine and Gaza, and with tensions between the US and China at historic highs, Iran may be signaling that it will not remain a passive actor in this shifting geopolitical landscape. The role of psychological warfare. This test is not just about the missile itself. It's also about perception. By leaving the type of missile unidentified, Iran has planted seeds of uncertainty in the minds of its rivals. Is it a conventional missile with extended range? Is it hypersonic, capable of evading current defense systems? Or could it be tied to Iran's nuclear ambitions? Each unanswered question fuels fear and speculation. This is classic psychological warfare, one Middle East analyst noted. Iran doesn't need to say anything. The silence is louder than words. Potential scenarios moving forward. Several scenarios are now being discussed in global defense circles. 1. Escalation with Israel. If Israel perceives this test as an existential threat, it could respond with preemptive strikes or cyber operations aimed at sabotaging Iran's missile program. 2. Increased sanctions. The US and European powers may push for fresh sanctions, potentially targeting Iran's defense industry and allies providing technical support. 3. Diplomatic maneuvers. Conversely, some analysts believe the test could be Iran's way of forcing negotiations back onto the global agenda, particularly regarding sanctions relief. For regional arms race, Gulf countries such as Saudi Arabia and the UAE may accelerate the purchase of advanced missile defense systems, intensifying the Middle East's already volatile arms competition. Public sentiment and media spin. Inside Iran, state-controlled outlets celebrated the test as a triumph of national pride and technological achievement. On social media, hashtags praising the country's defense capabilities trended among supporters, while critics accused the government of wasting resources amid economic hardship. Outside Iran, the narrative has taken a far more ominous turn. Western media outlets labeled the test a provocation, while some Middle Eastern platforms described it as a show of defiance. The contrasting narratives underscore how the same event can be spun in radically different ways depending on the audience. Strategic timing, a global chessboard. The timing of the test cannot be overlooked. With NATO focused on Russia's war in Ukraine, and the United States entangled in the complexities of Asia-Pacific strategy against China, Iran may have sensed an opportunity to assert itself. By flexing its military muscle now, Tehran could be signaling that it is not to be sidelined in the global power game. In a metaphorical sense, analysts have jokingly remarked that Newton is puzzled, Putin is troubled, and Netanyahu is rattled. The humor underscores a deeper truth: Iran's move has unsettled a wide array of actors across the geopolitical spectrum. The road ahead. As the dust settles, one thing is certain: this missile test has achieved its purpose. It has captured global attention, stirred unease among adversaries, and reminded the world that Iran remains a central and unpredictable player in international security. Whether the test marks the unveiling of a new weapons system or merely a symbolic gesture, its ripple effects will continue to shape debates in Washington, Tel Aviv, Moscow, and beyond. For now, intelligence agencies will pore over satellite images, radar data, and intercepted communications to piece together the mystery. But the broader message from Tehran is already clear: Iran is not standing still. It is moving forward, quietly but decisively, on its own terms.